Hello everyone, Ryan here. I was tagged a while ago, actually, I believe a couple months ago. I'm kind of behind in tag videos. Yeah. Well, anyway, so I was tagged by Tanja Panda to do the Little Less Lonely tag, and it is the All Arts edition. And I'm not exactly sure who created this tag, but I will, of course, link to the video that Tanja did, and I believe she's linked to the original video, also the original creator of this tag. So there aren't any questions for this tag. All it involves is just talking about the things that ultimately, I guess, cheer you up, such as books, movies, TV shows, music. So yeah, I'll just get right into it. As far as books go, I will say I haven't really read a lot of books that have actually made me laugh or cheered me up. But I will say one book that immediately comes to mind, which made me laugh a lot, is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews. It was actually the very first book that I reviewed here on my BookTube channel. I'll provide a link to the review if you want to check that out. I mean, yeah, it's just, I've been meaning to actually reread it. It's definitely awesome. And of course there is a movie adaptation, but I will say that the movie adaptation, it's really nothing like the book at all. Especially because the character Earl is one of the funniest characters that I've ever come across in any book, really. And granted, I know a lot of people consider his humor to be very crude and, I mean, I don't know, kind of unforgiving, relentless in a way. But I guess I could relate to it, and I found it hilarious because of the fact that when I was a teenage boy, that was pretty much exactly the kinds of jokes that some of my friends would come up with, and it was the kind of jokes that they would crack a lot. And so yeah, I don't know, I guess that's ultimately why it made me laugh a lot. So Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, that's definitely awesome. I also like reading a lot of graphic novels, comic books, especially recently. I've gotten back into, I mean, there was a couple of years where I didn't really read that many comic books or graphic novels, but ever since I've become a part of the BookTube community, I've really immersed myself more into the world of comic books, graphic novels. One graphic novel that I've recently been reading, kind of on and off. It's called Hyperbole and a Half. I checked this one out from my local library, and it's by Ali Broche. Oh crap! I dropped it. Okay, sorry about that. I dropped this. It's pretty heavy for a graphic novel. Well, I guess it's not really the kind of graphic novel that most people are used to, or not really the kind that I'm used to. But it's actually really hilarious. It's kind of like, to me, it's more autobiographical, and except the author, rather than just do like a typical autobiography, she's decided to write about certain things from her own life, from her childhood and growing up, and a lot of things that she would question as a child, and not only that, but then she questions the fact that she believes a lot of the things that she was into as a kid, now as an adult, she feels like her kid self was pretty stupid, or and mostly because she has trouble understanding why she was into certain things as a kid, and now that she's an adult, to her it just really doesn't make that much sense. And so yeah, and then there's a lot of hilarious illustrations throughout this. She also talks about her pets, her dogs, and how one of her dogs is just appears to be completely and utterly stupid, or not just unwilling to learn tricks, but also ultimately stupid, I guess. That's pretty much the word that she uses. But this is pretty hilarious. Hyperbole and a half. Some other things I've been reading a lot too are National Geographic magazine. I don't really read a lot of magazines, but one time I was at some doctor's office. I think I was with my mom or something a while ago, and so in the waiting room there was a lot of copies of National Geographic. I picked one up and I pretty much read the whole thing in a matter of, I don't know, 40 minutes or so. 40 minutes or like an hour, no more than an hour. And yeah, I mean, I like that National Geographic. A lot of the articles are short, but they really provide a lot of information about a lot of different topics. A lot of things that I never even really bothered to consider before, never really thought of before. So yeah, National Geographic. Another thing too that I do since, I do listen to a lot of music, mostly when I'm either going for a jog or if I'm driving in my car. But essentially one of the bands that I listen to the most is, of course, Metallica. This is their latest album, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. If you haven't listened to it and you're into Metallica or thrash metal or heavy metal in general, I do recommend listening to this. Of course, I've yet to review this. I will get to it. I will be reviewing it pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, since Metallica is my all-time favorite band, anytime I'm feeling kind of down or in a rut, I just listen to Metallica, and I turn the volume up. I turn the volume up to 11, and yeah, it really picks me up. It makes me feel a lot more energized, and ultimately I guess, I don't know what's the word. No, it doesn't cheer me up, but it makes me forget about whatever it is I'm stressing about. So, yeah, Metallica. And as far as movies go, I do watch a lot of movies. Of course, I've reviewed quite a number of movies. I do have a separate movie review channel, which is just called Madman Movie Reviews. I'll provide the link to that down below if you want to check that out. I had actually created my movie review channel way before I ever created this booktube channel. But yeah, recently I did see John Wick Chapter 2. I saw Logan. Logan is really awesome. I reviewed that. What else? The types of movies I usually like to watch are sci-fi, anything to do with DC Comics or Marvel. I'm really looking forward to the upcoming Justice League movie. I saw the recent trailer. It looks awesome. But I've always been a DC Comics fan. And so yeah, any movie to do with superheroes or sci-fi, fantasy. But then I also like to watch a lot of movies that just tell a really good story. A lot of the times, I'll watch these really different independent movies, the indie movies, like the kinds of movies that don't get shown in major theaters, but rather have a very limited release. A lot of them, of course, end up winning awards, like at different film festivals. Sundance is one of them. Ultimately, I just like watching a movie that has a really good story. I really don't care if they have like if they spend like $500 million on CGI effects, and I really don't care if it's if they have some big name actor or actress in the lead role, or if it's really just some person that doesn't really have that much acting experience, but they're still good at portraying a certain character. So, those are ultimately the kinds of movies that I usually watch. And then as far as TV shows, I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch it on a regular basis. Mostly because I don't really like a lot of TV shows, especially on network TV. Though I have recently been watching Doctor Who. Of course, not the classic Doctor Who. I'm not sure. I guess it's technically the new Doctor Who. But yeah, I like that. I like science fiction again. I've been really enjoying it, even though it does seem like pretty cheesy to me, corny. But the story is really good, really interesting. And then, I finally caught up with all the seasons of Game of Thrones, and I definitely like that. I am looking forward to the next season, season 7, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure season 7. I never thought I would actually get into it, but I really liked it right away. I think pretty much after I saw the first 2 episodes of the first season, and I was immediately hooked. Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't seen it and you're into that kind of stuff, fantasy stuff, then obviously I definitely recommend watching it. What else was I going to talk about? Game of Thrones, and then a while ago, I'm not really sure. I was definitely very much into Breaking Bad. I was one of the few people that watched it way after everyone else did. That was really awesome. And some other stuff I like to watch are Beavis and Butthead. This is a complete collection. It recently came out in sometime in February, I believe. So this is all, pretty much every single Beavis and Butthead episode. The TV show, it also includes the music videos, excerpts from music videos that they used to watch on their show, and they would comment on. Actually, I guess you could say it was like way back before YouTube, before people used the internet. Beavis and Butthead were like, the first, or if not one of the first, probably the first, aren't they? But definitely the first animated characters to react and comment on different music videos. Of course, now on YouTube, there's a lot of people that do that. They react to different music videos and other stuff. But yeah, Beavis and Butthead, they're pretty much like the pioneers of that. And I know that they're hilarious. I find it to be hilarious. Granted, a lot of people find their humor dumb and nonsensical, but I don't know. I like them just because anytime I want to watch something that's just going to make me laugh and something that I don't really have to think too much about, Beavis and Butthead are pretty much my go-to animated series. Yeah. Another one I like to watch a lot is Mystery Science Theater 3000. This is a collection of, I think it's 4 or 5 DVDs. What it is, if you're not familiar with the series, it came out sometime in the 90s. There's this guy who gets stranded in outer space, and because he gets lonely, he builds some robot companions. And at the same time, there's this evil guy who originally sent him into space, and he does this kind of, I guess you could say, experiment where he wants to drive him crazy. So he makes him watch all these really old movies, these old B movies, like horror movies, science fiction movies, the kinds of stuff that came out like in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Yeah, in an effort to drive him crazy. But instead of driving him crazy, what he does is him and his robot companions, they watch all these movies and they crack a lot of jokes throughout, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty hilarious. This is definitely one of the things that does cheer me up, because a lot of the jokes too that they come up with, they're pretty smart and insightful jokes. So, I mean, I think so. If you haven't heard of the series, if you haven't watched even one episode of this, I do recommend watching at least one episode of it. Granted, by today's standards, it may seem kind of weird or dumb, but I don't know. I mean, I guess you kind of have to be a science fiction fan first and foremost to appreciate it. I don't know, but I might be wrong. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's all I want to talk about, I guess, for this tag video. I kind of wish there were at least a couple questions. But yeah. So it's my turn to tag other people. I'm going to tag ChaptersWeLove, which is an awesome booktuber. I'll link to her channel. Batman Reads Books, another awesome booktuber, link to her channel. TheBookyBabe, Codey Quintana, Katze's Books, and Roya Eve Reads. These are all pretty awesome booktubers. I will provide links to their channels. And of course, if you're watching this and you feel like doing this tag as well, go ahead and do it. Again, there's no questions, just talk about stuff that you like to read, watch, listen to, that kind of stuff. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.